I'm not even sure if I spelled Villarreal right, but oh well. It is what it is, man.
It is what it is.
It is what it is. Did I spell? Yeah,
Huh?
we're up and running. It's up and running. It echoes when it starts the recording, which is cool.
Oh,
So you're on YouTube Live, so people can see your arm now. I did.
oh, what
I
do you
mean,
say?
because it starts without it even knowing, without me even knowing. So like, that's gonna be like the thumbnail or something. It's just gonna have you with your arm out there.
My arm.
Your arm's gonna be there. But no, everyone, thanks for watching and thanks for coming to our YouTube live preview of Villarreal versus Man United, the Europa League finals on Wednesday. And as you know, our podcast comes out on Friday, so I thought let's just do something live and something quick. Obviously, the finals on Wednesday, and we can't really be bothered to just wait until Wednesday to kind of do it. So Monday evening podcast has been recorded, and we're up and running with this final. So, Adid, let's hear your first initial thoughts on Man United versus Villarreal in the Europa League final. With it looks like no Harry Maguire and no Anthony Martial in the starting 11. What are your first initial thoughts?
Um, I'm more worried about Maguire not being fit than Marshall being out. Because I
I can
think with
understand that.
Marshall we've got replacements.
Adequate replacements.
Yeah, Maguire. I'm not really sure who's going to come in. Probably be the by. To
It
be honest.
probably will be, but after yesterday's performance for Axel Tuanzebe, I thought he should really start with Victor Lindelof at the back. But I think it's just going to be
Yeah,
one of those where he's going to go with the experience of Bailly. But Bailly and
experience.
Lindelof doesn't work for me personally. I've been quite vocal about that over the years, and especially under Mourinho, I thought that was very bad of him to have those two as the main two centre backs because they just don't cut it for me in those two. Like Lindelof is great. I like him. I like watching him play. He's really good in defence, but it's just him and Maguire are better than Maguire and Bailly for me. Everyone likes Bailly and
Yeah.
Maguire, but I'm not a big fan of Eric Bailly. I think he's reckless at times. There are places in the pitch he shouldn't really be at the time.
Mm,
But for me
mm.
personally, I'm quite happy with Axel Tuanzebe being that second centre back with Victor Lindelof. So that's kind of how I see it. Why don't we go through our starting 11? I predict the starting 11s first for Man United before we move on to the giants of Villarreal, even though they're a small
Villar,
local village,
Villarreal.
local team. But for me, in my Man United team, David De Gea has to start. For me, I think it's someone that really can't we can't leave him out for Dean Henderson. He's kept us in the game against Roma, the second leg especially, after all those chances that they had as well. David De Gea, he came back fighting after being left out of the team from Dean Henderson, and the fact that we have relied upon him in the past and has come up really well. Coming up from it's not even coming up clutch. Everyone uses that term now, but the fact that he's been there and done that for us, has won us trophies. I think he's the
Mm,
one to start for us in goal. At
yeah.
the back, I go for obviously Wan-Bissaka right back. Then I go for Lindelof, Tuanzebe, and I'd go for Luke Shaw at left back. That kind
Mm,
of is besides Tuanzebe, which I've just explained. The main first choice is more or less there for me. I don't really see anything different besides really Tejas maybe, but Luke Shaw's had one of his best ever seasons. Has been
it's
rested.
sure.
Obviously, it's got to be Luke Shaw.
It has to be Luke.
It has to be Luke Shaw. Midfield is where it gets tricky for me because we've got 12 players that could really start, but it's the 11th one of who you kind of drop. Because I know Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is going to start Fred and McTominay, but do you start McTominay Pogba in that centre midfield and leave a bit of a risk with Rashford, Bruno Fernandes, Greenwood, and Cavani all starting? Or do you kind of have a thing of where you leave, let's say, for example, you leave Rashford on the bench and you have Pogba on the left? Or do you leave Greenwood on the bench and play Rashford out of position on the right for 60, 70 minutes? How would you kind of do that
I
for
think he,
yourself?
I think he will start with Fred and McTominay, and he will play Pogba, Rashford, Bruno, and Cavani.
So Green would be the one that would miss out after his
I think
current
yeah, I
current
think he'd leave
good
Greenwood
form.
on the bench. I wouldn't personally do that. I'd have McTominay and Pogba purely because I
Mm.
don't think Fred's been very good past few weeks.
Yeah, the game against Leicester in the FA Cup, he was awful for me
Yeah,
in that game, and for me, I was like, I don't really want to see him in a Man United
he
starting
was
11.
he was bad against Leicester. He was bad against
Fulham
Liverpool,
as well. Yeah,
Fulham.
Liverpool as well. He was very bad against them in that midfield, and he just got
Yeah,
ripped to shreds annoyingly. But that's kind of how I see that. I see that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer will go for the Fred McTominay double pivot that is used and has been trusted recently, which is fair enough over the last season or two. But like I agree with you. I agree with the fact that Marcus Rashford and Greenwood have to start on the wings. Have to start against Villarreal's team. I think they've got Foyth on one wing, and I think they've got Moreno as their other. No, it's rather Moreno or Pedraza as their left back as well. So we'll get onto
Yeah,
them in a bit, Villarreal. But it's just the fact that with me, as a Man United fan, I'd rather see Greenwood, Cavani, and Pogba start rather than Greenwood, Rashford, and Cavani up front. Like Pogba is someone that can drop into midfield, he can create more as well. And with Bruno Fernandes in that middle of the field as well, you kind of want to see a bit more in terms of creativity from him. With Pogba in the team, it happens because he frees up space with Pogba, vice versa, and all of that. I think that's going to be quite fun to see what Ole Gunnar Solskjaer plays for on Wednesday night,
yeah.
how attacking he goes. But we don't need to talk about the bench. I couldn't care less about the bench. It'll just be everyone else: Van der Beek, Matic, Mata, maybe Elanga. Maybe Elanga was good against Wolves, I thought.
I kind of want Van der Beek to start as well as Pogba and Bruno, but I don't think we'll see that.
We won't see that happen as much as we want to, like we did against Roma in the second leg. It was Van der Beek on the
Yeah,
left, Bruno and
yeah,
Pogba in the middle of the field as well, with
yeah,
Fred. So it's just the fact that he's rested a couple of these players. Van der Beek played quite a lot yesterday against Wolves, and it's someone that you kind of want to see more of over the next couple of seasons for Man United going forward. Um, let's get into the opposition. Let's get into Villarreal, and let's get into really how they've kind of done recently. They finished fifth in La Liga at the moment. Yeah, I think the season's finished
yeah.
now as well. Yeah, they finished fifth in La Liga. The fact that
They beat they beat
got
Real Madrid, didn't they, just recently?
yeah, that was really good of La Liga. To be fair, the fact that they moved their game to Friday or Saturday,
Yeah,
some early, so they had more rest for this final. So they actually helped them. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was like, "Yeah, the Premier League just doesn't help us at all. They couldn't care less." And
it's a
that
shame
was
that Premier League doesn't help English teams out when they're
it does
playing in Europe.
it does it on occasion, but not all the time. It's poor like that. It's really annoying that way.
Yeah, I wish it did.
It would have been a lot easier for us, but that's what we have to go for, unfortunately. But yeah, with Villarreal, they've got Moreno, they've got BACCA, they've got Parejo, Capoue from Spurs, who used to play for
Oh
Spurs and
yeah,
Watford.
Etienne Capoue.
Etienne Capoue. They've got Foyth, who's on loan there from Spurs. That Spurs have been in need of a right back, and one of their right backs or centre back, who's playing at right back for Villarreal, is actually in the final of the Europa League. So obviously they
Then,
beat Arsenal in the last round. Zagreb they beat, Kiev they beat RB
mm,
Salzburg as well. So they've done really well to get into this Europa League final. Moreno's got the 6 goals. I think Alcacer's got 6 goals as well. He may
yeah,
be on the bench, but I think Moreno, BACCA, and Chukwueze will be the front three that they'll start with because they've been varied
Carlos.
from 4-3-3 or 4-4-2.
Didn't Raul Albiol play for them as well, centre back?
Yeah, he does. That veteran centre back who's been there and done that for Spain and has been
Mm.
part of Spain's most successful team, successful squad, I should say, not always starting.
Yeah,
But yeah, how do you kind of see Villarreal kind of setting up? Because I kind of see it as a 4-4-2. How they've been doing recently. Chukwueze, I'm not sure if he's going to be fit, but Moreno is going to be playing. Albiol is going to be playing. Unai Emery is a serial winner in the Europa League. Was it 4 times?
yeah,
I think he's won the Europa League, which is
yeah. It's
ridiculous.
Sevilla, I think, all 4 times, wasn't it?
Yeah, he made Sevilla that Europa League team, which is crazy as well. So it's gonna be
Mm.
good to see how they actually do. But I'm quite happy to kind of see Man United kind of press them from the front, like we have been doing against the likes of Granada, the likes of Roma, the likes of AC Milan as well. I
Yeah,
know Unai Emery's Villarreal is a lot better than Unai Emery's Arsenal, but it's just the fact that he's happier in Spain, is enjoying his football with his team, and I really don't see how Man United can lose this game. I've said this over our little couple Europa League previews, but the fact that I'm glad it's rather Villarreal more than Arsenal because Villarreal will put a lot more of a challenge up.
yeah.
Personally, that's how I see it. The fact that they've got a lot more in terms of their firepower this season. Moreno's been doing a lot better, like I said as well. But sorry, I've kind of just taken a question away from you. How do you kind of see us kind of setting up against Villarreal?
But like you said, I think you want press from the front, um, press midfield as well, just to kind of stifle them the ball and hopefully to see us control most of the ball and
Yeah, that's
getting
kind of
out.
why I wanted to play Pogba instead of like Rashford on the left or on the right or Greenwood,
Yeah,
because Pogba will help with that. He'll
yeah.
get into the midfield and kind of just help with the team really in terms of
Get
possession.
more time on the ball.
Mm.
Him, Bruno, Rashford. That's what we need.
Yeah,
against a
because
team like Villarreal.
especially with how compact they've been playing as well with their 4-4-2 formation, you want to kind of break them down. You want to kind of not really rely upon waiting for a sub to come on in 70th minute, 80th minute, that kind of thing. And
Yeah,
um,
yeah,
it's going to be fun as well because they're playing in Poland. I think it's Gdansk they're playing in, but they actually have fans in there, which will be quite nice as well to have that. So I think it's like 9,000 spectators coming in, which would be quite cool to see, and it'll be quite fun to see if any Man
yeah,
United
yeah.
fans have actually made it to Poland to actually see this game being played. But hopefully, we can actually get a home side advantage with like the neutrals going in, like you've got local fans going in. So hopefully,
Mm.
they'll be able to kind of support Man United in a way, and it will make a big difference to our team as well. But
I
um,
hope it's more. I hope it's more Man United than Villarreal fans.
yeah, definitely. But yeah, how do you kind of see this season going if we don't win the Europa League? If Man United kind of don't get the season with a trophy,
Uh,
are we what 3-4 seasons without a trophy now? If I three
second
seasons, I say.
place, second place, and no trophy. It's kind of progress from last season, but for progress, you'd really want them to win a trophy plus second place. That's what you call, actual progress. I
Because
think.
we've seen players in this team who haven't won a trophy, but you feel like they should
Yeah,
already have a trophy what's the term, under their belt. Basically, the fact that they've
yeah,
literally gone from like an FA Cup final loss against Chelsea back in 2018, League Cup final, they didn't even make it. They lost in the semi-finals after semi-finals after semi-finals under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. This season they lost in the quarterfinals to Leicester as well, and
mm,
it's just the fact that we just couldn't make it past the group stages in the Champions League as well. So this really should be a trophy that I believe we can take. Man United can really win this game. I think it's going to be a 3-1 victory for Man United. I think we will concede first, but I think Bruno Fernandes again will come into it. Cavani will come into it, and I think Greenwood will come into it as well. I think this is his time to kind of score a goal.
yeah,
Obviously, if you remember last season, he scored an offside goal against Sevilla in that semi-final in the Europa
yeah,
League
yeah.
that we were playing in Germany that season. But
Mm.
hopefully, Mason Greenwood kind of cements himself in that Man United team for years to come going forward as well. How do you kind of see this game going for Man United?
I hope they win tomorrow, just purely because of the fact they need a trophy for the evolution of this team.
Mm-hmm.
To kind of get them used to winning things. There's a lot of players that in that team that haven't won a trophy yet, proper trophy. I think I'm going to go 2-0 to Man United.
Clean sheet without Maguire.
Yeah, yeah.
That's bold. But then
I,
again, I think it's
I
just
hope I'm right. I hope
hopefully
I'm
you're
right. I
right.
hope we stifle them with the ball and we don't let them
Oh,
create many chances.
yeah, man. I hope it's something that we can actually because
Or
Villarreal.
David De Gea has a worldie and, just keeps them up.
Hmm. Because with Villarreal as well, because they've scored a lot of goals in this Europa League campaign as well. The fact that they've also defended very well as well. I think in that second leg against Arsenal,
Yeah, but
from
they
the
kept them
from
in there.
it kept it to 0-0, and they really
Yeah,
didn't get troubled by Arsenal in that second leg. Obviously, I was watching the Man United game because it was at the same time, but I
yeah,
really don't see why we can't challenge them a bit more as well. They've got an Asian centre back in RBL. They've got Paul Torres, who we've been linked with as Man United for the whole
yeah,
season, if I remember correctly. And there are people
yeah.
saying it's his last audition for Man United to see how he does and if he does well for us. And if he does well, we could end up signing him as a centre back. But for me,
Mm.
I just want to see how Ole Gunnar Solskjaer reacts to this. Reacts to if we do go down, if we can actually fight back again, and if this team can do it one more time to actually win. Because I do believe we are going to concede, and I do believe that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has to get this team up and running. But for me personally, I think, like we said, we're going to win. I really don't see how Man United, after the teams have faced Roma, AC Milan, Granada, not so much, but like we've faced proper pedigree, European
Yeah,
pedigree teams as well, which I believe we're gonna
yeah.
we're gonna win on Wednesday night.
Yes. Especially the way we trashed Rome.
We did it at Old Trafford
Absolutely
and
trashed them. Yeah,
we ruined them. And the comeback against, not so much a comeback, but the win against AC Milan as well. Because
AC Milan.
I've,
Yeah,
I've been bigging them up all season. Obviously, you got the San Siro in your background, but I've been bigging up under Pioli being a really good team. The young players coming through, but Ole Gunnar Solskjaer came up really well with the team selection. And for me personally, I want to see a bit more from Fred and McTominay in that midfield. Obviously, they're hard workers, but you want to see a bit more in terms of them kind of fighting a lot for the badge a lot more, and that's kind of how I see it personally.
Yeah.
McTominay, obviously an academy player, but you want to see them kind of dominating that midfield tomorrow against the likes of Capu.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's just going to be fun for us to see. But
I think the three I'd like to see, kind of dominate the game is McTominay, McTominay, Pogba, and Bruno.
yeah, that's how I'd like to see it. I think that'd be the one for me. And then you've got Greenwood, Rashford, and Cavani up front. But we know Ollie's got his stick formation, his stick plan, and we're going to see how it's going to go. Yeah, it's just the fact that Villarreal, obviously, they're underdogs. They're unbeaten in Europe this season as well. But it's just the fact Emery, with the competition record that he has, that's why it's a lot more scary than, it's just a small team from Spain. We used to play them in the Champions League group stages. Our last 4 games, obviously,
I think they've all been 0-0 draws, haven't they?
They've all been 0-0 draws. In 2005, I think we played them, and in 2009 we played them as well, 0-0 in all those games. And it definitely won't be a 0-0 unless it goes to 0-0 and then penalties. But the fact that Unai Emery is a serial winner in the Europa League is the thing that scares me the most. The fact that he was ridiculed at Arsenal, but he obviously knocked out Arsenal.
So he knows how to win that tournament.
Yeah, definitely.
Plenty of experience.
But to be fair, like I said before, we're going around in circles, but to be fair, I'd rather have Villarreal than Arsenal, because Arsenal have beaten us for the last 2-3 years now, so I'm not really confident against playing Arsenal in that way. But yeah, let's finish it off with, we've kind of done everything, haven't we? We've done our predicted lineups, we've done our predicted scoreline, and we've kind of seen how Villarreal will kind of set up, but that's more or less it, isn't it? I'd say.
Yeah.
That's it.
What else can we add? Don't know.
Should we do a watch along on Wednesday?
If you want.
We can do it on Wednesday. I'll be like, no, but then like our streams will be different. My BT Sport will be a lot different as well. That's another thing as well. With BT Sport, they're doing it for free online, so they're actually
on YouTube.
On YouTube, yeah, they're showing the game for free on YouTube, which is brilliant. So if anyone does have BT Sport and you want to watch the Europa League final or the Champions League final, or even both, they're both for free this year as well, which is brilliant. So get to enjoy that.
I wonder if it would be free on TV if they have the channel on Virgin Media or Sky. If you don't have BT Sport,
that's something
we
can research. If they did, that would be cool as well, because it's straight to your area as well. There's no lag or anything from the internet, which will be cool.
I hope they do.
That'd be nice. That'd be good. But yeah, it's coming to the end of the domestic season as well. And like we said, Villarreal, if they don't win the Europa League, they're in the UEFA Conference League. So they've got a lot of motivation riding on this game as well. And they want to be challenging for the top places in Europe as well going forward. So I just need to shout out my colleague Mikel, who's Villarreal. He works for Villarreal, but is a Man United fan. So Mikel, if you're watching this, this is like the Mikel derby. He works for Villarreal, but he supports Man United. So this will be fun to see. But no, thanks everyone for watching. Enjoy the game, and hopefully we'll be celebrating on Wednesday evening when Man